Hello everyone, welcome to my online tutorial, TOSCA Automated Software Testing. Right. So in the last class, we discussed about scanning and creating a module. So today we'll move to fourth experiment, that is buffer operations. So in this buffer operations, we'll see setting buffer, deleting buffer, partial buffer, and expression evaluator and process operations using a test cases. So go to TOSCA Commander. So click on modules. Here we can see the standard modules. So under standard modules, click on T-box automation tools. So where we have buffer operations. So under standard modules, click on T-box automation tools. Under T-box automation tools, we have buffer operations. So under buffer operations, we have four different options, that is set buffer, delete buffer, name to buffer, and partial buffer. So we'll see. So all these modules, all these four standard modules, these four are inbuilt standard modules in TOSCA. We'll see one by one what are the operations of buffer. Before going to operations of buffer, what is buffer? Buffer is used to store the value. So TOSCA provide an option where we can store the value, any value in the application. Suppose we want to fetch any value in the application, we can fetch that value, store in the buffer. Later, we can use that value for verification or validation. That is the main aim of buffer. So we'll see these buffer operations one by one. We'll create a test case, new test case named buffer. You can give any test case name. So I'll start with set buffer. So you drag and drop T-box set buffer to new test case. So can give the buffer name here. So buffer name, can give any name here. So I'll give B1. You can assign the value for that buffer. So A, B, C, D, E. So now A, B, C, D, E value is assigned to a buffer name B1. If I execute this, so this is going to create a buffer B1 which contains the value A, B, C, D, E. Right. Here you can see a test case passed. So if I see the log information, you can see buffer with the name B1 has been set to a value ABCD. So this is the use of set buffer. We can also view the buffer under tools. You can go to tools, then click on buffer viewer. Here you can see all the existing buffer. So we now, just now we created B1 buffer with the value ABCD. You can see here B1 with the value ABCD. So this is how we can set the buffer value. So next we'll see second module, name to buffer. So drag and drop name to buffer to test case. So name to buffer here, if I use already existing buffer, so as a value here. So in this case, if I want to use buffer, this is the buffer here. I want to assign a value, already existing buffer value, I'm going to assign here. So in order to do that, we need to use curly braces, use curly braces, then B, then square brace. Then you can give the buffer name, which is already created. So within flower braces, type B and open square braces, then type buffer name, then close the square bracket and flower bracket. So this is how we can fetch the value of B1, which is already created. This value, ABCDE value, right? So that is assigning to a new buffer. So here in case name to buffer means, so the use of name to buffer. So the test case. So where we execute the test cases, the test case name is automatically going to assign to this buffer. So that is what the use of name to buffer. So it is automatically going to give the name to that buffer based on the execution where we are going to execute that. Suppose if I execute this, so we are executing this in the scratch book. The scratch book value is going to assign. So, right, you can see here the buffer with the name ABCDE has been set to a value scratch book, right? So here, this is the buffer name. That is, we use the value of previously created buffer as a buffer name. You can say ABCD is the buffer name. The value is automatically assigned. Means the test case where it is executed. So that will be the value for that buffer. So this is the use of tbox name to buffer. We'll move to third module, set buffer. So drag and drop set buffer. So now I'm going to set the buffer value here. Set buffer. So sorry, set buffer. We already executed set buffer. So we'll take partial buffer. Drag and drop partial buffer. So tbox partial buffer. So in this case, so you can give a new buffer name here. So I'll give B10 is buffer name. So value, I'll fetch the same value of B1. In order to fetch the value, so we need to use flower braces, P, square braces, call that buffer name. Whichever the value we want to fetch, call that buffer name. That is B1 inside the square braces. So this is the syntax to fetch the value from the buffer. So now that is going to fetch the value of B1. So now B10 is assigned with the value A, B, C, D, E, right? So now, so partial buffer means, so I need to consider a part of value from this existing value. So in this case, A, B, C, D is the value. So if I want to fetch B, C, D, so I want to eliminate A and E, I want to start from B and end with D. So for that, I'm going to give the positions here. That is start from second position and end with fourth position. Means BCD is the value I'm going to fetch. That is the partial buffer. Assign that value to B10, right? This is the use of partial buffer. If I run this, so now it is going to fetch the value from, you can see here, BCD. This is the value from B10 is assigned with BCD. So that is the value of B1 from the position 2 to position 4. So this is the use of partial buffer. So this last option can be used. So suppose when I use last option, if I give last value 2, then it is not going to consider start and end. Last 2 means last 2 value will be assigned. If I give last 3, then CDE will be assigned. So then we need to make empty this start and end. It won't consider start and end. It will consider only last option. If I use last option, we can't give start and end value. If I give start and end value, we can't use last option. So this is how partial buffer works. So next we left with last module, that is tbox delete buffer. So drag and drop tbox delete buffer to new test case. So now I can delete the existing buffer by giving the value here. So tbox delete buffer. So suppose I want to delete the buffer B10, I'll give B10 here. So give B10, run from the sketchbook. So this is going to delete B10. See here. So B10 was successfully deleted. You can see here in buffer weaver, you don't have B10 buffer name. Similarly, if I want to delete any buffer name, I just need to give the buffer name here, then execute. So these are the 4 standard modules which are existing in the TOSCA. So next we'll see the operations, process operation using a test case. Using the test case, where exactly this buffer operation is useful while automating the test cases. We'll see that. Okay. So now we'll see the scenario where we can use the buffer operation. So we'll consider saucer.demo.com/v1 website where Swag Lab. So we'll log in this standard underscore user and secret underscore sauce as the username and password. So once I log into this, okay. So here, so the operation is suppose I click on add to cart. So here we have the product name, that is Sauce Labs Backpack, right? This is the Sauce Lab Backpack. So the scenario is, suppose if I click on add to cart, the same Sauce Labs Backpack name should be present inside this cart, right? If I click on this cart, so the same name, Sauce Labs Backpack, right? Same name should be present. So that is what the main intention. We need to check if I add the backpack, whether the same name is present in the cart. So that is the scenario. So this can be done using buffer operations, right? For that, we need to capture the Sauce Labs backpack. This value we need to capture. That is the first step. We need to capture this Sauce Lab backpack, this content. Then we need to click on add cart. Then we need to click on this cart. Then we need to fetch this Sauce Lab backpack value. Then we need to compare this with this Sauce Lab backpack, the previous value, right? So then we can validate that the same item is present in the cart. This is the scenario. This can be done using buffer operation. So we'll see how to do that. So now we'll start creating the module. Create a module. So I give buffer underscore operation. Can give any name. So right click on the folder, go to scan, choose application. Choose the application which you want to record. In this case, first I want to select Sauce Labs Backpack. This is the content I want, right? So for that, I'll choose select on screen. Then I choose this Sauce Labs Backpack. Click on this, right? So that will give the object inside the Xcan, right? So once it is added, so make sure the property inner HTML selected. So identify by property here, we need to select inner inner text here, inner text, because this is the value sauce lab backpack we need to fetch, right? So we need to select inner text of this object. Means this value is, we want this value, right? Inner text value. So I'm adding that property, inner text property, to this object. So make sure you choose an inner text, then click on save, and close this. Means go back to your TOSCA. Here you can give a name, product name. You can give any name here, product name, right? So we selected this link, that is Saucer Labs backpack, by adding the property inner text so that I can use this value later, right? So now in the second stage, so we need to record, we need to click on add to cart, then I need to click on this cart button, right? So I need to record these two. I need to record these two. So I'll go back to module, start scanning once again. Start scanning once again with the new module, that is scan, go to application. Choose the application, click on scan. So now select on screen, click on select on screen, then you can choose add to cart. So this object I want, right? Add to cart. And I also want one more object, that is link of this cart. Make sure there are two items here in this cart. One is link and another one is path. Make sure you selected link. So carefully select this. In this cart, don't select this path, select this link. So now both are added here. So as we discussed in the last class, last session, see the selected item should be unique. In this case, both the objects which we selected are not unique. Means it is not going to, it is not possible to automate. So we need to make sure the selected item is unique. So first, so I choose link. So this link is not selected in a unique way. So we can go for selecting the another property, identify by property. Here you can choose class name. If I choose class name, this is the unique class name, shopping cart link. So it is identified in a unique way. As soon as I click on this class name, this object is uniquely identified. So now if I choose add to cart, so add to cart, if I choose class name, it is not possible. See, in the previous case, this link, as soon as I click on class name, it is uniquely identified. But in this case, add to cart is not uniquely identified. So we can go for identifying by different options as we discussed in the last session. Go to basic. Once again, click on advanced. Select add to cart. Identify by anchor. We can move to second option, identify by anchor. Once you click on identify by anchor, you can see the identify by anchor menu here. So we need to find out an anchor for this add to cart. So make this link as an anchor. Drag and drop that link just below anchor control. Drag and drop that. As soon as you drag and drop this link to the anchor control, you can see here, you'll get a message. The target control was successfully identified. Now the both objects, link as well as add to cart, are identified in a unique way. You can see here orange color is disabled now, means it is uniquely identified. You can see here at the bottom, the selected item is unique. So now we can save this, close, go to TOSCA Commander. You can give the name here, click add item. Can give any name. Okay. So now we want one more module. That is one is add item. Similar as add item, we want add cart, right? You need to click on cart so you can copy this. You can copy this module, paste this in the buffer operation folder. Same. You can give the name as click on cart. Click on. You can copy this module, right click, copy, and right click, paste. So you'll get this. Then change the name, click on cart. So now we got product name, this name. Then click on add cart, click on cart logo. So once I click on add cart, click on cart logo, then we need to fetch this link, right? Sauce Labs backpack. One, because this link is required. Why? Because I need to verify the name which is present in the previous page is same as this page. I need to verify that. So I want this object also. So in order to record this object, we'll keep this page as it is. Then we'll go to TOSCA commenter. Then we start with the new scan. New scan. Right click, go to application, choose that page, click on scan. Then select on screen. We'll choose Sauce Labs backpack. This link will choose. This is already selected in a unique way it is selected. The selected item is unique. So no need to do any other operations. Just you need to save this. Right? Close. So now go back to Tosca, right? These are the four. So I'll change this name. Cart name. Right? So these are the four modules we created. So now we'll go to test cases, create new test case with the name product underscore buffer. You can give any name here. So product underscore buffer. Then we'll shift, copy all these four modules and drag and drop to this test cases product buffer. So once I drag and drop this buffer, so we'll go one by one now. So now we'll see how to use the buffer operation. So choose product name. So this is the link, that is this one, right? This one. So I need to fetch this value. So what is the use of buffer? We can fetch the value and we can store that value in the buffer. That is what we are doing now. So now this Sauce Lab backpack. So in the action mode, click on action mode, drop down, make it as a buffer. So as soon as you select as a buffer, you'll get a value here. This is the buffer name. Sauce Labs backup. You can give any name here. So I'll change that to buffer 1. So now, so this is the buffer. This is going to create a buffer. So the value which is present in this Sauce Lab backpack link, that is this value, Sauce Labs backpack, is stored in the buffer name buffer 1, right? So once so then after creating the buffer, it is the next operation. So I fetched this value, store this value in the buffer 1 variable. Now after that, I need to click on add to cart. That is the second operation I need to do. So click on item, right? So for that, go to action, We'll select input as usual. Then you can choose click, right? So click. So click on, sorry, not this one. Click on, 1 second. So I need to choose add to cart. Add to cart. Click on add to cart. This is what I need to click. This is in order to add an item, I need to click on add to cart button. After clicking add to cart button, I need to click on this cart logo. So for that, so use click on cart logo. I need to click this link. So for that, choose link. Click on option for this link, right? So next, at the last, cart name means I need to verify whether the cart name is same as the product name. So the product name value is stored in the buffer B1. So now I need to verify with the cart name. For that, you need to choose the operation in the action mode, verify. Here, you need to choose the action mode as verify. So we need to verify with which value we need to verify with. We need to verify with buffer1 value. So for that, open flower braces, capital B, open square braces, give buffer name BUFFER buffer1, which is already created, close square braces, close flower braces. So this is going to fetch the value from buffer1 variable, then verify with the cart name, right? So 4 operations here, step by step. Product name, we fetch the value, Saucer Lab backpack. Then we store that value into the buffer1. For that, we have set the action mode as buffer. This is going to create buffer1. Then inside this buffer1, it is going to save the value, that is Saucer Labs backpack. Next, it is going to click on add cart. Next, it is going to click on the cart link. Then in the last page, it is going to verify with the Saucer Labs backpack value is same as the value which is stored in the buffer1, right? So now we'll execute this test case. We'll see, make sure this product page is open. Right click on product buffer, run in Scratchbook. So this is going to open Saucer demo page. Then it is going to fetch the Saucer Labs backpack value. Then it is going to click on add to cart. Then it is going to click on cart. Then it is going to fetch Saucer Lab backpack. Then it is going to verify with the previous page, right? You can see here test case is passed. So first test case, product name. Here you can see buffer is created. Buffer1 is created and assigned the value Saucer Labs backpack. So in the second step, it is clicked on add to cart. In the third step, it is clicked on the cart link. In the last page, it is verified with the Saucer Labs backpack. Verification was successful. Expected value is Saucer Labs backpack. The same name which we added in the product page is verified with the cart name, right? So in this way, we can use the buffer operation in the TOSCA. So this completes the 4th experiment as per the VTU syllabus. So thank you for watching.